Hey guys, it's Kim from Dodges and Daisies. Welcome back to my channel. We are again taking a break from our 10 supply challenge to do another journal collab with a friend. So today I will be doing a journal collab with Skylar Hand. I will list her info down below. You can find her on Instagram as Skylar Hand, but also on YouTube as Skylar Hand. So you can look for her video and post as well in both places. She was actually the one that suggested doing a YouTube video collab, and I have obviously never done that before. I've just started this channel. So I was so super excited to do that. I love that she reached out and offered to do that, and just super excited. When we talked about what we wanted to do for the collab, she suggested patience and persistence, and I just couldn't believe that she suggested those two words because I literally, just a couple hours before she had messaged me, wrote an article for a magazine called Shout Out Atlanta, and I printed out the article here, and I literally wrote as part of my article, like this entire area was about patience and persistence. And I had just finished writing that and had sent that over to the publisher. And then she reached out asking to do this collab on patience and persistence. And I was like, that's just amazing. It's so funny how we can kind of just be on the same wavelength as people, just learning the same things and going through similar situations. So I felt like this was just meant to be. Because it was really funny to me that I had just written this article, I actually printed it out and I'm going to include it in the spread. I'm going to put an envelope in the spread today, and I trimmed this enough where I could just fold it easily and stick it in the envelope. This way this will actually act as my journaling for this spread. And I just think it's also kind of a cool keepsake that when I look back on this, I can see that during this time of trial and hardship, there were also really beautiful silver linings like magazine articles. And for anyone who's watching, this is just one of 3 that I've been so privileged to be able to do. I've been keeping this a secret for what feels like forever. It's probably only been a few months. I'm just terrible with secrets. But I actually got a chance to work with 3 separate magazines this winter. Shout Out Atlanta is one of them. So definitely check out them when this comes out. But there will be 2 more, and the other one I can kind of let you guys know, I think, in 2 weeks, and I'm so excited about that one. So yeah, it's been really, really beautiful silver linings to these clouds, and being able to write and publish articles in magazines as well as photograph and have my photos published in them, just really cool. So yeah, we're gonna just take a break from the 10 supply challenge. I'll be back next video with another one, but today we're just going to focus on our collab with Skylar, who just want to shout out, not only does she have a really great Instagram page and a really great YouTube channel, she just hit 11,000, so big congratulations to her, but she's also just a really, really nice person. Throughout everything that I've been going through, she has consistently reached out with just very kind and comforting and validating messages, and I just wanted to thank her for that, because not only is she a great artist and a great content creator, but she's just a really sweet person as well. So let's start. Today I'm going to be starting like I normally do with just some vintage paper. Everything that I'm using today I actually took from one book, and it's right here. It's the Reader's Digest Complete Book of the Garden. I found this in an antique shop, and not only did I get my cutouts from it that I'll be using, but I'm also going to be using the pages that just kind of describe the plants as my background. And I found this that actually says patience plant, so I thought that definitely has to be included. So we will start off just with our background. Okay, so I just set up my background. I use just vintage paper as my base to the background and kind of covered the patient's plant, but you can kind of still see it. I did really want that visible, but sometimes with background pages you can't always get all the words in. So I used the vintage paper on both sides, so there's a little symmetry. I used my triangles, which I normally do, to do the classic leading line inward. I tore, this is just construction paper that was brown, and I kind of wanted it to look like dirt, because what I talked about in the article when I was talking about patience and persistence is root systems in plants, that sometimes when we are putting a lot of time and effort into growing our business or whatever it is that we're cultivating in our lives, you can't always see everything that goes on under the dirt as the root systems are forming. But they're so important because the strong root system is what makes the flower grow. So I really wanted what I wrote about in the article to be symbolized in the spread, even though in order to read the article, we're going to have to open up our little envelope. So I thought of a garden theme, and I attached the envelope where the journaling will be. And all I did was I kind of mimicked that vintage paper triangle here just to give it a little bit of distinction. And then I used that vintage measuring tape that I love so much, not only because I feel like it goes really well with a vintage garden theme, but also I like the fact that it was measuring tape and we're kind of talking about growth. So there was kind of symbolism in that too. For my cutouts, there were a couple that I wanted to start with over on this side, and they were just kind of bulbs under the surface that you can't really see. The plants haven't sprung yet. And then there were these guys, which were kind of plants just starting to be. I'm not sure if I'm going to use all of them because I don't know if I have room, but I definitely wanted to use these. And for my other cutouts, I just cut out a lot of flowers because I thought we have things like crocuses where you first start seeing things come out of the ground, and then just some more vibrant flowers. And I just thought that the contrast between the bulbs under the ground and then the flowers starting to bloom, I thought this biggest one might be fun here, just to show kind of like a full grown plant. Just could be really symbolic of the whole theme of patience and persistence. So we're gonna start gluing those guys down. I also included two quotes and two photos. I might not have enough room on the page itself, but maybe we do. I included two photos of myself from when we first actually moved to South Carolina. I was wearing my Roots t-shirt, and that's because I have very, very strong ties to my home state of New York, especially Long Island, where I'm from. And I knew that I never wanted to forget that, no matter where I lived or for how long I was there. Like, I'm a New Yorker at heart, I'm a Long Islander at heart. And that was important to me to buy that t-shirt before we left. So I was thinking of sticking it on the page because, and now this poor flower is glued down already, so if I do, it's not going to be seen. But I always can stick flowers over it. I actually never include photos of myself on my pages, but I think I might this time. And I think we never really do. We never really do include photos of ourselves, and I think we should. I was talking the other day about just how I tend to use like archival materials as much as possible. Like, I really don't go nuts with it, but as much as I possibly can. And that's because I've had creative journals for, the last 20 years or so. And I do really, really appreciate looking at them and remembering where I was in life. And they mean a lot to me to see, and to see how far I've grown and to see what I was doing at that time. And I think a lot of us, we always stay behind the camera. And I think it's good once in a while to get in front of the camera and just, we'll be looking back at these when we're old, and maybe our kids will be looking back at these, or our relatives will be looking back at these, a niece or nephew or, grandchildren, who knows. And I think every once in a while it is a really nice thing to have ourselves in the spread, because we might not always feel comfortable in front of the camera. I certainly don't. If anyone was watching my Instagram stories the other day, I basically had a breakdown about having to do photos for the magazine articles that I'm going to be in. It's not a comfortable thing for many of us, but I think in the future, both ourselves and our relatives will appreciate it if we're in them sometimes. So I'm going to encourage you, if you're watching this today, to try to stick a photo of yourself in one of your spreads. Even if it's just one in the whole journal, just try to include one. That's my challenge to you guys today, because I really do think that future you or a future relative will appreciate it. I also included 2 quotes from Morgan Harper Nichols, who I absolutely love. I think she's one of the most inspiring people. And they say, "My struggles are real, and so is my joy. And I'm free to shed light on the struggle, the hardship, and the pain. And I am free to shed light on the strengths, the healing, and the peace. And I will continue to do just that." And I feel like if anything could encapsulate how I felt the last couple of months and the article that I wrote, it would be these quotes. So I really, really wanted to include them. And like I said, not everything's going to be included seen, but if I can't include everything, then I can always use them in this tuck spot. So right now, only one photo is going to be used, but I can use the envelope to tuck the other photo in there. And this way I always have that in my journaling. I also really wanted to include the Patience and Persistence title. So I think I'll do that over here. And just had a couple of pieces of ephemera that I actually got from Rhonda from Create Mail. She sent over a bunch of really beautiful yellow ephemera. And yellow is one of my favorite colors to craft with. So I thought I might add some of what she sent in here too. And Rhonda, just want to thank you for that. You really brightened my day with your yellow ephemera pieces. So we will use tape again to just add a little bit of layering, and then we can stick our title there, just so we know what this spread is about. And I really am just over the moon to be doing a spread about patience and persistence, because, like I said, I feel like it fit very well with the season of life that I'm in, and I'm sure the season of life a lot of us are in. Things don't always happen immediately, and the good things, like the really big things, the really exciting things, a lot of times aren't the things that happen immediately. A lot of times they're the things that happen after months or years of hard work and hours of behind the scenes type things, where you're planning and putting work into your website, or photographing things, editing your photos, writing articles, growing your social media accounts. Like, a lot of these things take an awful long time and an awful lot of hard work, and you don't always see them in the beginning. But if you're persistent and patient and you continue to put in the work, and you can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, a lot of times the plants that bloom are really beautiful things. So right now, guys, you know me, I don't really plan all that much. I'm just kind of adding things here and there. Because it's not our 10 supply challenge, I'm just allowing myself to put things on that I might not normally put on, or, you know, do things I might not normally do. I'm not restricting myself in any way to a certain number of supplies. But as I mentioned in the other video, when you're not restricting yourself to supplies, but you still kind of want an easy, stress-free spread, it's really easy to work with just either one artist or one book or one color scheme, and all of the cutouts and, you know, all of my flowers and even the paper itself is all from the complete book of the garden. So that kind of makes things easy to work with because it's all from the same, you know, like illustrator, and the color schemes are all similar. So I would love to know in the comments anything that you guys are willing to share, where you felt like patience and persistence have paid off. I think patience and persistence are really underrated in today's society. I feel like we just kind of expect everything to come really quickly and come without work or time or effort, and that's just unfortunately not how life works. And I think that it's important that we talk more about patience and persistence, honestly, because there's usually a lot that goes into things. When we see people succeed, a lot of times we don't see all of the hours of work that went into their success. So let me know if you agree. I wanted to do more of a gardeny theme, but it seems like I'm kind of running out of room for these flowers because I added the quote and the photo. But that's okay. Sometimes we just kind of work with things as they go. Hey guys, welcome back. I just added some details, and because I can be a little indecisive sometimes, I just cut the hemming and hawing out of the video, but I'll explain everything that I did. So I chose to just go with green and blue stamps this time, just to kind of represent that gardeny, outdoors growth feeling. So I just added a few stamps where I felt like it could use a little bit of embellishment. I continued with our garden theme, so I just added those kind of under the roots, just popping out, just blooming images. And I also just wrote just little things like the date, the article for Shout Out Atlanta, collab, to remember that this was a collab with Skylar. I put the patience and persistence title of what the theme was about on the envelope. I wrote growth, and then I just did a couple of little hearts and things like that, just because, again, talking about keeping journals as keepsakes, I personally think things like little doodles and our actual handwriting, as well as like photos, like I mentioned before, are actually really great things to put into your journals. So whether it's you looking back at this in 10 years, or a relative or child or friend or spouse or partner. I think sometimes really small things like a photo, your own handwriting, little doodles that you did by hand, they're all things that just kind of represent you and just kind of are a keepsake of you at this time in your life, and are actually more important than you might think that they are. This is how the outside of the journal page will look. I think I'm pretty done with it. And I think that, you know, even though the symbolism didn't go exactly like I thought it would, I still think there's symbolism of things growing and then blooming. And when we open this up, I collaged under the envelope just a little bit so it looks pretty. I did fold the article and this other photo of myself, which I will attach with a paper clip, and I'll put both of those inside. This way the journaling, even though it's hidden, will still be there and we can take it out and read it. But I did want to read you, not the whole article, because I hope that you guys will go to Shout Out Atlanta's website and read it. But I did want to read a little bit of it, just because I felt like when Skylar suggested the patience and persistence theme, like, it just meant so much to me. And this is why. This is because I had literally just written this a couple of hours before. So I'm going to take this off screen and read you just a tiny little bit of what I had written. And then you can look at the spread and anything that you might have missed as I was just kind of playing around with it. So I wrote, was making a career out of my favorite hobbies easy? The answer is a definite no. Not only do I have many health challenges that make just getting through a day difficult, endometriosis, tumors, asthma, chronic fatigue, allergies, anxiety, panic attacks, PTSD, severe pain, etc., but they certainly don't make running and maintaining a business by myself easy, nor is starting a business in and of itself an easy task. When it comes to my health issues, I have to work very hard on the days where I feel well enough to work, because there are days where I honestly am not well enough to work. It takes strength, determination, and a never quit attitude. I may not have strength one day, but the next day I might, and I will attack that day with a determined spirit. As for the pure aspect of starting your own business, you need to realize that success is not an immediate thing. Thankfully, I had years with my photography business of learning these lessons. It takes time to grow, and it takes a lot of patience while you are small, even if your dreams are big. Growing takes many, many hours of hard work behind the scenes that no one will see. But if you can keep in mind that it takes time, effort, hard work, and patience, and you can stay motivated when things don't seem to be growing as quickly as you'd like them to, I honestly believe that you will see some form of success. Similar to a plant, roots grow under the soil first, before the plant begins to sprout. It takes water, attention, and time as the root system begins to develop and become strong, so that when the plant does sprout, the roots are able to hold it. No one sees the time and effort behind growing the roots, but they do see the beautiful, strong plant that blossoms. Don't give up during the root stage. Your time to bloom will come. What I would want the world to know about my brand and my story is that it comes from a place of difficulty and hardship, but it also comes from a place of determination, hard work, and love. I'm someone who has never given up, and even though life's path took a turn I wasn't expecting, it led me to be able to do something that I love. And how many people can say that? There are silver linings, we just sometimes have to look for them. In this case, the silver lining was a really beautiful one. And that was written about my journey as having to not work a regular 9-to-5 job because I had so many health issues. But it led to me starting this paper crafting and stationery business, and that led to just a really beautiful thing of being able to do something that I love and growing it as a career. And am I there yet? No, but it's getting there. And being able to, like I said, work with 3 magazines this past winter made me kind of feel like I'm on my way, and all of those years kind of watering those roots and growing that root system wasn't in vain, that I kept being patient and I kept being persistent, and I'm starting to see it pay off. So thank you, Skylar, for suggesting such an absolutely perfect theme to a journal spread. This is how mine came out. I can't wait to see hers. Please go to her channel and watch her version of this and her Instagram account and look at her spread of this. I'll post this on Instagram as well. And if I could encourage anybody who's in a similar position, whether it's with your business or with something in life, I really don't believe that patience and persistence isn't rewarded. Everyone might not have a super huge, social media reach or become a millionaire with their business or whatever else your dream may be. But I really truly believe with all of my heart that some level of success and reaching your goal can be possible with patience and persistence. That if you keep putting in the time and you keep putting in the effort and you keep putting in the work and you're persistent with it and you don't get discouraged, I really truly feel that you will see a payoff. Whether that payoff is little or big, I can't say, but I really believe that there is one. And in February, you can see one of mine. I'm so excited. So I'll just say, check your local Barnes & Noble, wink, wink. And yes, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or night wherever you are. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content or if you'd like to check out any of my other videos, please give me a like. It helps my videos show up for other people to see. And I would love it if you subscribe too. And thank you so much for watching. And Skylar, thank you so much for suggesting this. Have a great day, guys.